Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 3.
Yep, Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 3, Episode 7. Yeah, we're on 7. It's been a couple weeks. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the dojo, and we're in full catch-up mode. Age escaped his house burning down, among other things that he couldn't be around, so we didn't have time to record till now, but we'll be playing catch-up the next couple weeks. Not this week, but probably next week and the week after we'll have 2 of each show. Two episodes of each show, just to catch up, and then we'll be back on schedule, no big deal. Yeah, so last time we had the Southern Cross and that rabbit doing some very fancy moves, and Yuji is a cog. Maybe he should be part of Gears of War or something, I don't know. But he convinced what's his name and what's their name to join them. It's been several weeks, I don't remember their names. But giant sneeze aside, which hopefully was muted for you guys, we're going to Tokyo Colony number 1. We're getting the colonies. We got that stinger for that guy who's potentially been around for centuries last week, and he has, I forget the math that we did last time. What was it, like 200 kills already or something like that? Something crazy?
No, he had 200 points.
Yeah, he had 200 points. Yeah, so that was at least...
And then he spent 100 to create a rule.
Yeah, he created the, like, inspect rule, basically. Pretty much. So, yeah. It will be interesting to see what is done about all the new rules, what people's rules will be, and how the game plays out. Because it's pretty much just kind of a weird session of D&D, let's be real. So, and the game master is a incorrigible douche. So, that being said, I still can't wait to see what's up with the Ron Simmons guy. That's gonna be hilarious, I'm sure. So, we'll probably be introduced to a lot of random weird-ass characters that are gonna be off the wall, and villains of the week, and that kind of thing. So, from colony to colony, that kind of deal. So yeah, a lot of interesting stuff, and maybe we'll get a glimpse into whatever Tengen and the other two are up to, just hanging out, playing shogi, or whatever they're going to do while they waiting around. It's just an entire episode of them screwing around and doing nothing. Because unlike Fire Force, this show's not on a clock. It's on a different kind of clock. It's on the clock of how much of the anime are we going to get before the Spite ending occurs and they just go on to the author's sequel series. So it's kind of a weird position to be in for Jujutsu Kaisen fans. It's, maybe they could just animate that the note. If you know what note I'm talking about, maybe they could just have that be just, that's the episode and it's just the note and that's it. And that's how the series ends in anime form. That'd be awesome. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to spoil it, but you go and read it and see how the author Spite ended the series because of all the politicking and bullshit, then it is pretty funny, honestly. I thought it was damn funny. I got to give the guy props also for sticking up for his shit, by the way. That's hardcore, and more people need to do that. So don't take shit from anybody. That simple. So anyway, we're going to push some buttons and get going here. So people on Patreon, we'll see you on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube, we'll see you on the other side for the discussion and review. And if you want to check out any content, the links to the various places are where they need to be. So check it out, push buttons, and don't watch our not hit podcast Distractable, because it's not ours. But Markiplier keeps saying it. I don't know. It's so easy to say. It bothers me. More people need to promote Distractable for Markiplier. I don't know. You're a bad person if you don't listen to Distractable, according to his latest video. So, probably a lot of bad people out there. So,
yeah.
Shenanigans and Markiplier aside, we gotta watch Iron Lung at some point, and we'll probably do that and talk about it. But either way, we're gonna get going here. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then. There you guys have it. When you think you have the backing of an entire clan, but you actually have the entire backing of an entire clan. I mean, what a hilarious freaking just all of this was great. Like freaking Kogane, the little MC guy, you know what I mean? Just he had some faces, classic faces, stuff like that. That I think that's like the face that every end user license agreement makes when you scroll to the bottom and don't read it.
I have one job. At least let me do it.
Yeah, which tells me that all the Koganes out there aren't privy to what the others are doing, I guess, because if they were, then that Kogane would know that Yuji's Kogane like gave them the information and they have that information. So yeah, that's kind of interesting. So it's kind of like a singular
Well, the
doorbell.
Kogane, yeah, the Kogane are Shikigami, so it probably is just a collection of Shikigami, not necessarily a singular entity.
Yeah. But yeah, when this happened during the live reaction, I was like, "Oh, you mean just Maki and Fushiguro, the entire clan?" And then this came up, and then you guys can see it like right above my head right here. That in the Japanese subtitle, there's this little fucking Maki face there. Like, yeah, she was here. She does this tomorrow. So that was friggin' hilarious. Gotta love that for that kind of thing. That's great.
Effectively, all the Zenin clan is at this point is a freaking Maki, Fushiguro, Yuji, and Kenjaku.
Yeah, pretty much.
Technically, also Choso.
Yeah, technically.
But Choso has not had any interest in Zenin anything, neither does Kenjaku.
Right. So, yeah, that was definitely a thing, but this episode was kind of like all over the place for that kind of stuff, but it was great. We got the fact that that inspect rule, you're able to just pull up.
No. There's one more. The original blood manipulator guy who was part of the other school. He's still alive and around.
Yeah, he's still around. Yeah, but we haven't seen him in a while, so we don't really know what.
Yeah, last thing we knew, he's still alive and around. He could have potentially died off screen at some point, but
yeah, we don't really know what's happening to the we don't really know what's happened to the Kyoto school students. You know what I mean? We've got nothing on them in quite a while since the whole Mekamaru incident. So
yeah,
and then we saw the broom girl in Maki's thing. That was about it.
Yeah, we know Mai's dead. Mekamaru's dead. We don't know the status of the blood manipulator. We know the scout broom chick is... Last we saw her, she came up again, was freaking out over the fact that Mai's dead. And last we saw, what's-her-face, Miwa, was her, in the room waiting for Mekamaru to come back.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean... This is definitely a pretty damn interesting situation as to what's going on. They have a decent plan. The fact that it's literally Battle Royale rules when you enter Colony is pretty hilarious. Really got him with that one. But, that is what it is. It's pretty on point for... You gotta remember that Kenjaku is calling himself a game master because he kind of sees this as a game and he's enjoying the spectacle, as you can see in the OP when he's like looking down like into each colony when he has like the thing doing the shot like this and he's laughing his ass off because it's a game to him. You know what I mean? This is what he wanted to do. Yeah. He might as well have fun with it, right?
He's been planning this for over 1,000 years. He's just set this up, and the whole point of this is to be an entertaining game for him to observe that ultimately culminates in his grand ritual to try to ascend humanity into being entirely sorcerers.
Right. Which is kind of interesting that all these people that were dropped outside of the colony, like this girl here, who is the girl from the Occult Club from episode 1, Crazy Blast from the Past. And that was the whole thing, in case anybody forgot who she was, which I don't blame anybody. But that's why he said, thanks for being friends with my son, aka Yuji. Because technically, it's his son, even if he was the woman in the relationship of that situation.
I mean, it's still a son in that case.
Still son, obviously, yes, but still, you know what I mean. But
yeah, though that was the odd thing out, though, was that as far as we know of all of his children, that was the only time where he took the woman role in the relationship.
Right. So, Yuji's dad is like a major player, apparently.
I mean, we know of at least 10 kids that he has between the 9 paintings and then Yuji.
Yeah, which, I mean, let's be real. Over the course of 1,000 years, that's not a lot of kids. Look at Phillip Rivers, former quarterback of the San Diego Chargers. He has freaking 9 kids in one lifetime.
Yeah, once again, though, that's only the ones that we know of.
Right. But still, it was definitely an interesting situation to kind of like do that callback and bring her into this and that kind of thing, and show off like all the people that are just kind of like in the. I wonder if this is the fact that all these people were in that state of being between awake and asleep, which he called a curse in and of itself.
The whole thing was part of the rules was that, people who weren't mandatory participants, aka they didn't have a pact with Kenjaku or a curse technique or anything like that, that were in the area at the time, were given the opportunity to leave.
Right, yeah, that was one.
So all the normal people here who were just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time were given the opportunity to leave.
Right.
Because ultimately, he doesn't care what happens to any of them. Like, he gives them this opportunity just to have the game itself be more interesting. But he doesn't really care whether they're in the barrier or out, whether or not they actually choose to leave the barrier or not. Because once his ritual goes through, it's going to affect everyone the world over, regardless.
Right. And at this point, like she mentioned, it's just like maybe it was just kind of like an especially small kindness to her of like he kind of like pushed her a little bit to leave. Like this guy mentions that they all had the same dream, but him mentioning, hey, thanks for being friends with my son, kind of like a little bit of humanity left in him. You know what I mean? He kind of like maybe would have willed her a little bit more like, hey, no, I want you to leave because, it would probably bum Yuji out if he found out you died. That kind of thing.
Yeah, he was definitely more directing her rather than just purely giving her a choice the way he probably gave everyone else a choice.
Yeah.
Which, once again, we've seen that some aspects of Geto are still in him. Like, Kenjaku still, like, takes on aspects of his host. And, like, we've seen bits of Geto peek through here and there, and Geto was a very, like, caring person. So,
So yeah, it's just kind of something interesting to think about for her specific situation. Obviously, like she mentions, nobody else. Obviously, like he mentions, like, what do you mean friends with whose son? I didn't get that bit. You know what I mean? So it wasn't just like a widespread vision or dream or whatever. They were all probably reasonably personalized, a certain way. Or he knew that she was friends with Yuji in high school for all the occult club stuff that happened and kind of stuff. So that's kind of an interesting thing for Kenjaku's character, just as like a little aside thing. So that's kind of neat. But it will be interesting to see how all this stuff plays out. Literally dropping in like a BR, mind you. Where are you dropping? Not dropping with your squad, apparently.
Yeah, it's literally hot dropping in a battle royale, except for you don't have any freaking agency in where you drop.
For anybody who's played co-op 7 Days to Die before they made the update, if you like wanted to play together or whatever on the same server and you wanted to like meet up, most of the time you were several kilometers from each other. Imagine if that's how it was in every battle royale. You go in with your group. And it's just like, okay, where are you at? I'm at the waterfall. Well, great. I'm at the city. That's literally the other side of the map. You know what I mean? Imagine if the entirety of the BR is just make it to your team, and that's how you pull off more success. You know what I mean? Everybody drops somewhere else, and it's just complete RNG.
Yeah, it's just a full-on free-for-all until at the end when the couple of teams that did manage to actually regroup have to fight each other.
Yeah. That'd be kind of like an interesting way to put it. It's like, yeah, you're on a team, but you're solo until you get to your team. And it's not just the case of being able to just like run across the map beeline for each other, because that usually probably wouldn't work out. You just kind of get picked off because you're not doing what you're supposed to, gear up, do stuff, whatever. So that'd be kind of like an interesting way of like, yeah, you're still on a team, but it's still solo until you link up with your team, no matter how big the region is. But yeah, I mean, we got our first look at some fairly interesting curse techniques with these characters that Yuji was fighting. They use their hair for their curse technique. We could make a Bayonetta joke, but where will it end? One of them is a helicopter, and the other one's a fighter jet. Interesting. And Yuji just took out the woman with the fighter jet hair with a piece of rebar or something, like a frisbee. It was so weird.
She had like totally let her guard down, and he just clonked her upside of the head with it.
Yeah. It was just so nonchalant, like, yeah, whatever. This is stupid. But yeah, meanwhile, Fushiguro gets... I think we've all gotten this character before. We know characters like her.
Yeah, I mean, once again, she's supposed to be the more obvious one, clearly, because just personality and the fact that she clearly has a scorpion motif, which is... Scorpions are... Their whole thing within mythology is being conniving and, in general, like, they're not as considered to be as devious as snakes in most cases, but they're conniving and destructive to the point of self-destructive, like the whole Aesop's fable.
Right. Now, in case you guys are wondering where we're getting the scorpion thing, look at her hair. Just look at her hair. And then look at a picture of a scorpion, and you'll probably get it.
Yeah, her hair is a scorpion tail, and her dress is all sleek, like skin tight kind of dress, which fits scorpion motif.
Yeah. So, either way, it's interesting that they're doing the two liars and one truth situation with the guy that Yuji's talking to and this girl that Fushiguro is talking to, trying to get to the guy that they're getting to. But once again, as I mentioned at the end of the reaction, there was the guy, I forget his name, but he's probably in control of this whole region, and he's probably trying to advance his own agenda. Okay, so these are probably plants for various things, and both of them are lying. You know what I mean? So it's we did see in the freaking
Preview.
Yeah, the preview that Yuji does end up at the place, but they were both probably lying about the location. Obviously, Scorpion Girl more so, but he's probably wanting Yuji. He's probably wanting to meet Yuji for one reason or another, so he's having him, led there in a different fashion. So it's definitely kind of an interesting twist on the two lies and truth kind of situation. But yeah, it's at the end of the day, they framed it as one was telling the truth and one was lying. But the gimmick to that is they're both lying in one way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, once again, like the Scorpion Girl is definitely lying, and she's the obvious liar. But then Amai is probably also lying, and the typical, like, not typical, but like the playing the fool kind of character, and that he's probably a lot more powerful and influential than he's letting on, and just kind of letting the newbie hunters think they're in control.
Right, like he's just playing the fool, pretending to be the gopher or whatever, just letting them do their thing because he's the plant. You know what I mean? So it's definitely kind of an interesting way to handle that, and I guess it helps that he knows who Yuji is randomly, because that, or the head honcho in charge knows who Yuji was and just kind of gave out that information, like, hey, just mention this middle school or whatever, and this thing. Information warfare is a thing.
Yeah, I mean, he technically could be lying, but chances are he probably was just a guy from Yuji's high school.
Yeah,
and recognized him.
Yeah, he could have been. So, either way, definitely some interesting stuff going on here. I like what's going on with it. A lot of the cinematography in this episode was pretty interesting as well. The way they had some of the shots and stuff, that was cool. And once again, Kogane's face, that was hilarious. So, it'll be interesting to see where it goes from here. I'm sure we'll be getting what's going on with Utah and stuff like that at some point here as well. Because of all the different, characters that we get shown to us in the OP, you know what I mean? They're going to have to get through a lot of characters and what's going on and how they're going to be adding their, with the plan, how they're going to handle the culling game and getting Fushigoro's sister out of it and that kind of thing. It's definitely an interesting plan as to how they're handling it, of like being able to transfer points. And as long as you're acquiring points, doesn't matter how, you're not going to get your technique stripped from you, which would kill you, obviously. But so as long as you're able to just freely transfer points around, that's technically gaining a point in some way, shape, or form without having to kill somebody.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Kogane allows that, because it could be considered disrupting the game by getting rid of people's incentive to kill each other.
Yeah.
But yes, technically, it's basically just abusing the wordplay of it, because all the rule stipulates is just that you have to gain points within 19 days, or you're disqualified.
Right.
It doesn't state that you have to actually earn them yourself; just that your point value just has to change every 19 days.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see how Kogane handles that, and once again, wordplay and that kind of stuff, it's been used before. Most recently, it was Alistair and, Has Been Hotel. I told you not to lay your hands on her. Literally. I didn't mean not hurt her. I said don't lay your hands on her, and you're always doing this shoulder thing. So F you. You know what I mean? So it's like, you beat me with wordplay? Yeah. We got you with a technicality. Lawyer bullshit. So that's probably what a lot of these rule changes are going to have to come down to, is clever use of interpretation of the rules and what you can and can't do within the spirit of the game. You know what I mean? So it'll be kind of interesting to see what each rule comes up with, how it's handled, and what could be the ramifications of that. So.
Because once again, a rule can be anything, so long as Kogane doesn't rule it as being something that violates the sanctity of the game itself.
Yep.
It's just as long as the game could feasibly continue with that rule, it's fine.
Yep. So, yep, should be a thing. Looking forward to it. And that's all I got for this week. You got anything else, Age?
Just going to instigate a rule that says you have to kill Yuji on sight.
Right.
Yeah, no, the only other thing was, you briefly mentioned it, but yeah, the random kind of lore drop bit that I think most people would kind of overlook was the whole thing of Kenjaku just kind of casually mentioning that mid state between dream and being awake is apparently a curse, and he heavily implied that he currently possesses it. Right. With Gato's technique.
Yep. So that's pretty interesting, actually, to think about. So we'll see if something comes up with that more than just this situation.
Yeah, which means he effectively could do this to just about anyone.
Right. So that's pretty interesting, because in case anybody forgot, Gato's whole thing was collecting curses. That was his thing. He was like a Beastmaster hunter, or whatever you want to call it. Summoner, something like that. One of those kinds of things where you collect things and you use them in certain situations as your whatever. It's kind of like Fushiguro Shikigami, but in the case of him, it was curses.
Yeah, it's more akin to Final Fantasy summoners, where they have to defeat the creature and then they gain the creature as a summon.
Yeah. Anyway, that being said, liking where this is going. So, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond whoever you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. This is Jujutsu Kaisen, Season 3, Episode 7. Yeah, that's where we're at. Once again, we'll be catching up with the fact that we were unable to do stuff for the last couple weeks. So next week we'll probably have 2 episodes of each show, and then the week after that we'll have 2 episodes of each show, and then we'll catching up with starting the spring stuff here in about a month, so we can be fine. Got a bunch of recording to do, but we'll be doing that in the next couple of days. So yeah, that's an us problem, not a you guys problem. For those 2 weeks, you'll probably be getting 2 episodes a day, 1 in the morning and 1 at night, just to kind of give YouTube a chance to not give me the finger when it comes to uploading stuff.
I also apparently need to get on it if I do still intend on frickin' reading at least up to Fall of the Empire arc on Tanya, since they announced that it's going to be July.
Yeah. Any Tanya the Evil fans out there, season 2 is confirmed for July. So you got a couple months. But anyway, that being said, everybody, as always, we appreciate you. Have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. And see you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.